Imagine coming home from years of serving your country, building a simple dock for your kids to fish on, only to have your nosy HOA neighbors slap you with fines that could bankrupt a small nation, all because they claim your backyard is community property. But what if, buried in dusty old deeds, you discovered you didn't just own that dock, you owned the rights to the water under every single one of their precious McMansions? Buckle up, folks, because this tale from the suburbs of America is a masterclass in petty tyranny, sweet revenge, and the kind of irony that makes you laugh through gritted teeth. My name's Alex Rivera, 48, retired Army vet turned quiet handyman, single dad to two sharp-as-tax teens, Mia and Lucas. After dodging bullets overseas, I craved normalcy, a cozy spot in Willow Creek Estates, a gated slice of American dreamland hugging a man-made lake in suburban Ohio. The house was modest, but the sliver of lakeside yard, pure gold. I envisioned lazy afternoons with the kids casting lines. No drama, just peace. Little did I know, in this idyllic community, peace came with a side of surveillance and stupidity, courtesy of the Willow Creek HOA board, a trio of self-appointed overlords who treated bylaws like holy scripture. It started innocently enough. Lucas and I spent weekends hammering together that dock. Basic pressure-treated lumber, no frills, just sturdy enough for a cooler and some folding chairs. Mia painted the railings a cheerful blue, giggling about how it'd be our family fortress. The first sunset we spent out there, feet skimming the water, Lucas turned to me and said, "Dad, this beats base housing any day." I ruffled his hair, feeling like I'd finally nailed fatherhood. For a blissful month, it was heaven. Then, bam, the certified mail hit like a sucker punch. The envelope screamed official, Willow Creek HOA, compliance notice. Inside, a laundry list of nonsense. Unauthorized lakeside structure encroaching on communal assets. Fine, $750. Immediate removal required or face escalation, including liens and potential legal action. I stared at it, chuckling at first. Encroaching? My deed showed the shoreline crystal clear as mine. Had to be a mix-up. So, I suited up, jeans and a flannel, nothing fancy, and headed to the next board meeting in the community center, a bland room smelling of stale donuts and desperation. There they were, the board, Harold Voss, president, a paunchy ex-accountant with a comb over that defied gravity, perched behind a folding table like a king on a thrift store throne. Flanking him was Marjorie Klein, secretary, all tight smiles and pearl earrings, the kind of woman who weaponized "bless your heart." And then Vince Harlow, the enforcement coordinator, fancy title for neighborhood snoop, with his ever-present tablet, ready to document your every blade of overgrown grass. Harold cleared his throat, peering over half-moon glasses. "Mr. Rivera, thank you for attending. Regarding your addition to the lakefront." "Addition," I echoed, keeping my tone even. "It's a dock on my property. Deed says so." Marjorie leaned in, her voice dripping with that faux concern only Karen's master. "Oh, honey, we understand you're new here, but Section 7.2 clearly states all waterfront enhancements must preserve the aesthetic harmony of our shared vista. Your contraption blocks views and poses risks. What if a child slips? We're just thinking of the community." I glanced around. A handful of neighbors fidgeted in metal chairs, avoiding eye contact. One guy in the back muttered something about his own fine bird feeder, but clammed up when Vince shot him a glare. Harold nodded sagely. Precisely. Safety first. Remove it within 2 weeks, or fines double daily. We're being generous. Generous? I walked out fuming but silent, not wanting to escalate in front of witnesses. Back home, Mia asked, "Dad, everything okay?" I forced a smile. "Just grown-up stuff, kiddo. We'll fish tomorrow." But inside, I was plotting. Whispers started almost immediately. Neighbors side-eyeing me at the mailbox. Rumors flying on the community app. That new guy's turning our lake into a junkyard. Marjorie posted a passive-aggressive note. "Let's all remember, Willow Creek thrives on unity, not individualism." Unity, my ass. It was code for toe the line or else. The fines piled up like bad karma. First week, another notice for visual obstruction. $500 more. Then, environmental impact. Apparently, my dock might scare the ducks. At $300. By month 2, they claimed I owed $3,200, with threats of a lien on my house. Vince started patrolling my yard, snapping pics from the street, his face twisted in that smug gotcha grin. One morning, I caught him measuring my grass with a ruler. "HOA standards require no more than 3 inches, he barked. "Yours is 3 1/4. Expect a citation." 3 1/4? I deadpanned, biting back a laugh. "You got a laser level for that. Or just eyeballing?" He puffed up. "Standards are standards, Mr. Rivera. Property values depend on it." Property values, their favorite buzzword, like a shield against logic. Meanwhile, Lucas came home from school upset. "Kids say you're the dock delinquent, who's ruining the neighborhood." Mia added, "Why do they hate us, Dad?" I hugged them tight. "They don't hate us. They hate anything they can't control." That night, alone on the dock, stars twinkling on the water, I vowed not to let these petty tyrants win. But as I stared into the lake, a nagging thought hit. What if this wasn't just about the dock? What secrets lurked beneath this harmonious surface? The HOA board fancied themselves guardians of suburbia, but really, they were a comedy of errors wrapped in red tape. Harold, with his endless emails about elevating our enclave, lived in a McMansion with a fountain that violated his own noise rules. Hypocrite much? Marjorie, the self-proclaimed community mom, gossiped like it was her job, turning next door into a witch hunt forum. And Vince, the guy's truck had more HOA stickers than a NASCAR sponsor, cruising like he owned the streets. They ruled with an iron fist in a velvet glove, fining folks for everything from holiday lights too festive to cars parked askew. My real wake-up call came at another meeting. This one packed after word spread about my rebellion. Harold banged his gavel. Yes, he had won, like a wannabe judge. "Order. We're here to discuss persistent non-compliance." He eyed me like I was public enemy number 1. I stood, voice steady. "My dock's on my land. County records confirm it." Vince snorted. "Records? Amateur hour. Our covenants supersede that. Think of the children. Slippery when wet. Slippery when wet?" I nearly cracked up, but kept cool. "Kids fish there safely. What's the real issue?" Marjorie sighed dramatically. "It's about equity, dear. If everyone built willy-nilly, we'd have chaos. We're protecting you from yourself." "Protecting me? From my own backyard?" Gasps from the crowd, but mostly awkward silence. One neighbor, Mrs. Patel, whispered to me later, "They fined me $100 for my curry smell wafting inappropriately. You're brave. Brave? I was just pissed. That night, fines hit $5,000 total, with a demolition notice. The community app exploded, selfish Rivera lowering our values, but cracks showed. Anonymous posts questioning the board's lake fund hikes. No visible improvements despite dues jumping 15%. I started digging, literally and figuratively. Sleepless nights poring over old family boxes from my late grandpa, who bought the lot in the 50s. Dust flew as I unearthed yellowed deeds. Boom. Riparian rights conveyed in perpetuity to Parcel 27. Parcel 27? Mine. Not just surface access, the subsurface water rights under the entire lake, predating the HOA by decades. Grandpa's notes mentioned the developer granting it to avoid lawsuits back then. I cross-checked at the county office, clerk yawning as she handed over plats. Red lines sliced through the neighborhood. My rights underpinned all 68 homes. If they messed with me, I could theoretically shut off their water views or worse. Grinning in my truck, I thought, oh, the irony. These control freaks depended on my goodwill. But I played it close, observing their antics. Vince showed up unannounced, demanding dock access for inspection. Can't have hazards, he sneered. Hazards like your ego? I muttered under my breath, but let him poke around. He tripped on a plank, nearly face-planting poetic justice. Marjorie ramped up the smear. Flyers and mailboxes labeling me disruptive element. Neighbors divided. Some avoided me, others slipped notes of support. Lucas tugged my sleeve one evening. Dad, are we losing the house? I knelt. No way, but these folks are all bark. Inside, rage simmered, but patience was my weapon. The more they pushed, the more absurd they looked, like clowns in suits enforcing nonsense. As tensions boiled, I uncovered the rot at the core. Whispers turned to confessions. Mr. Jenkins fined $400 for a non-conforming fence that matched everyone else's. They said it was beige. Not ecru, he grumbled. Mrs. Singh showed me a $250 ticket for her Diwali lights, disturbing nocturnal wildlife. Nocturnal wildlife? In a suburb? Laughable, if not infuriating. Then, the money trail. Patel, the accountant neighbor, pulled me aside. Look at this, he said, spreading spreadsheets. Dues for lake preservation ballooned yearly. $150,000 collected over 4 years, but the lake was weed-choked. No cleanups. Where's it going? I traced it. Payments to Harlow Lake Pros, a company registered to Vince's brother-in-law. Rigged bids. Inflated invoices. Every fine funneled back to their pockets. Maintenance my foot, Patel snorted. It's a slush fund. Knowledge nugget time. HOAs love blurring lines with easements, but riparian rights? That's old school law. If your dirt touches water, you own access unless deeded away. Mine wasn't. The board bet on ignorance, but I was schooling myself. Late nights, coffee-fueled, I built my dossier, deeds, budgets, emails. The doc symbolized their greed. If I caved, others would too. One evening, Mia asked, why not just yell at them? I smiled. Yelling's easy. Winning's smart. Their desperation peaked. A special assessment vote to beautify the lake, code for demolishing my dock. Harold's email, for the greater good. Greater good? Their bank accounts. Maybe. I attended, silent as they preached. Marjorie, We must maintain standards, or property values plummet, a neighbor challenged. Like how my values dropped when you fined me for pink flamingos? Vince shut him down. Irrelevant. Focus on threats like unauthorized builds. Threats? My dock hosted barbecues, not bombs. But I bided time. Dossier growing. The absurdity hit peak when Vince cited me for dock-induced algae bloom. Algae? In winter? I laughed outright. You measuring that with your magic ruler too? His face reddened. Mock all you want. Pay up or lose everything. Lose everything? Game on. The pieces aligned, my rights controlled their lakebed. One shut-off valve tweak, and their views flooded with issues. But I played fair mostly. The air in the community center crackled like a storm about to break. Every chair occupied. Standing room only. Phones recording as the board called the emergency session to resolve the Rivera matter. Harold adjusted his tie. Voice booming. Fellow residents. One individual's defiance jeopardizes our harmony. This structure must go for safety, for values, for us all. Marjorie nodded vigorously. Think of the liability. Slips. Falls. Oh. The horror. Vince projected slides. My dock circled in red. Labeled menace. We've been lenient. Now, enforcement. Lenient? The crowd murmured. Some nodding robotically, others shifting uneasily. I rose calmly, binder in hand, a brick of truth. Lenient? You've buried me in $12,000 fines for something on my land. But let's chat facts. I unrolled the 1950s plat map. Red lines glaring. Riparian rights. Folks, I don't just own the dock. I own the subsurface under this whole lake. Your homes sit on my goodwill. Gasped. Harold spluttered. Preposterous. Our covenants predate nothing. I cut in. County confirms. No jurisdiction. The door swung open. A county inspector strode in. Badge shining. Valid deed. Fines void. HOA overreach. Chaos erupted. Neighbors cheered. Cameras flashed. I flipped to budgets. And this? $150,000 maintenance to Vince's kin? Fraud. Plain and simple. Vince bolted upright. Lies. Context. Marjorie shrieked. You ingrate. We keep this place civilized. Civilized? The crowd turned. Thieves. Refunds. State auditors arrived mid-meltdown, seizing files. Harold deflated like a punctured ego. Their masks shattered, petty kings exposed as crooks. Laughter mixed with outrage. One kid yelled, Doc wins. Justice didn't trickle. It tsunamied. In the aftermath, resignations flooded in. Harold's email, stepping down for health reasons. Health? Try shame. Audits unearthed more. Padded contracts. Kickbacks. Refunds hit mailboxes. $800 here. $1,500 there. Mrs. Singh danced. Check in hand. My lights are staying up. The next meeting? Fury unleashed. Jenkins slammed his fine. Beige versus. Ecru. Apologize. Half the board fled mid-rant. New elections brought sane folks. Transparency ruled. I formed the Lakeside Rights Alliance. Workshops teaching deed reading, turning victims into victors. The dock, now a landmark. Families snapping pics. Kids dubbing it Freedom Pier. We planted a garden around it, blooms over scars. They thought they'd sink me. Instead, they drowned in irony. One man's stand toppled their scam empire. But was the HOA truly evil? Or just everyday folks drunk on tiny power? Drop your take. In a world of rules run amok, is silence complicity or smart survival?